Christa. Welcome back to Garden Goddess Tarot. Oh my goodness, how have you been? Hope you've been good. It's been a little bit since I've done like a face-to-face chatty video, and today I've been feeling freaking weird. The last couple weeks have just been fucking weird. And I don't know, not myself. No one's themselves. It's very strange. I don't know if it's space weather related or what, but times they are changing. So I thought what would be fun today to just do to kind of ground myself, just take it easy on myself, as well as, you know, make the effort show up. I want to do a little casual chit-chatty tarot haul today. Just show you what I've picked up the last basically, I don't know, month, I guess. My personal tarot practice has been a bit weird and all over the place, across the board, sporadic, chaotic, and I don't know if I could wrap it up concisely into a little tarot roundup video, but instead we'll just do a little haul. I'll show you what I picked up. Some of these I've been working with, some of them I haven't yet, I will mention as I go through, but yeah, no, just a little fun tarot show and tell, which is very exciting. If you're curious more of the detailed things for which that I have thus been gotten up to, there's a ton of videos in the member space that you can check out. Did some candle making around Samhain. There's a couple of vlogs, witchy whatnots, poking around, lots of readings, you know, no end of stuff. So if you're curious, the Of the Goddess tier of the member space has all you could possibly want in terms of content every month. So I highly recommend checking it out if you're interested in spending a bit more time avec moi throughout the month. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into talking some fun tarot, because why not? All right, so I'll start off with talking about a couple of non-deck related tarot things, and these are bags. I mentioned them briefly at the end of the Madame Phoenix unboxing, but I got a couple of wonderful tarot bags from Christa at Crochet Witch Wares, or Crochet Witch Tarot. I think her shop is called Crochet Witch Wares. I'm pretty sure her channel is Crochet Witch Tarot. Pretty sure. Anyway, she's amazing. She's a doll. She's a delight. I love her to pieces. She's the sweetest little human you've ever seen. Oh shoot. No, wait. It's here. We're good. Thought I forgot something. But she hand crochets these bags, and I've wanted one for ages, and there was finally one that I absolutely fell in love with when I saw that she had posted it. And it was this little guy here. He's like a gray, a light gray, soft white. It's like the soft, it feels like a teddy bear, and it's the perfect little home for this deck that I have been, this isn't a new deck specifically. I've had this one for a while, but I did modify it, which I'll show you in a quick second. But she's got the cutest little charms on the end. There's a little black mirror here as well. A black and white deck had to go inside this, so I absolutely love it, and it was perfect for the Dark Side Tarot by Corrado Roy, which has been my Rider-Waite-Smith of choice the last month. I used it for the group readings for everybody, as well as just for myself. It's really easy to pull out, and I've modified it. So it used to have like a smoky gray border around the outside on the front and back, and I had edged it in like a stone gray color, and it was okay, but it really didn't match it. So I went in and I modified it. I chopped all the borders off, and now it's just this perfect little size. This is a Los Scarabeo deck, one that comes, it's in like a weird big box for them. I don't know, it's a very strange setup, and it's got the cardstock that usually comes in the boxes that have the slidey top lids as opposed to duck boxes, if that makes any sense. I don't hate it, but I actually really like it, this cute little size. It's perfect and adorable, but the art is Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It's black and white, so there's no color, and it's just a little bit moodier. It's a bit more sketchy. You can even see there's a lot of pencil marks on it that haven't been totally erased after the ink's gone on it, which I find makes it charming in its own way. I think some people might be really irritated by that, where it just looks like rushed or unfinished, but I think it just adds a really nice little like hand-drawn charm to it. It really, like, hands have touched paper in order to make this, which I appreciate. I always enjoy tarot decks that have been created like through the hands specifically of a creator. with physical medium. And like, that's not to say I don't like digital decks, but I tend to enjoy them less. There is a certain charm about something that's been, you know, drawn and inked by hand particularly, but I really like it. It's Rider-Waite-Smith with a little bit of moodiness. The creator of this is the same one that did The Murder of Crows, if you're familiar with it. It's a bit darker even, it's a bit spookier even, but this one was just perfect for me for spooky season. It just rode that middle line of dark, black and white. Rider-Waite-Smith can read it no problem. And then when I modded it, it was wonderful, and it just had to live in this little Christa bag. So that's what we did. So when I ordered that as well, Christa, the sneaky, cheeky little friend that she is, sent a little extra surprise bag in there, and it was this one with the most autumnal and beautiful muted, moody, dark color story to it, and I absolutely love it, and it's perfect. So it was an absolute wonderful treasure of a gift, and it fits, like, these stretch in a fun and cozy way. I think these are actually two different size bags. This one might be a little bit bigger, but it might just be even the deck that's in them. But just the way the crocheting kind of molds around the deck you've got in there, it's cozy and protected. I just love them. Again, something made from the hand of someone that I know. So special. I will treasure these forever. This one, I wasn't prepared for what deck to put in it. I didn't have one at the ready, but then I remembered I've been meaning to get the Fallen Angels Oracle out of its box. So I ended up putting the Fallen Angels in this one, and I think the colors for it are just perfect. And this Oracle deck also isn't new. I've had it for a while. I don't use it all that often. It is a very specific and particular deck if you're familiar with the Goetia, and it's very useful if you work with those type of energies, but the guidebook is a bit vague, and if you want to work with it in that sort of way, you're going to have to come at it with existing knowledge and existing intention of practice with it. But it does have the capacity for being a great benefit to you in your life if you choose to use it in that way. Otherwise, it makes for just a great dark, spooky, moody Oracle deck. So it's entirely up to you for how you choose to use it, but the Goetia are present, named and all, for your convenience. and yeah, so that one there is the Fallen Angels Oracle. Oh, I forget who it's by, but it lives inside this little Christa bag, which was the main purpose of mentioning it. And I've been using it a bit this month too, for spooky season. It's a good one to pull in, but yeah, that's the Fallen Angels Oracle there. And Christa also sent, alongside this, a bonus card, a sample card from her new Oracle deck that she's making, the Ephemeral Oracle. Gosh, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I ordered it already. She has a pre-order for it. I'm pretty sure the pre-order's still up. I'll link it down below. But it's a deity and plant deck. So she's found all of her personal associations between deities and the plants that show up in their myths across a couple of pantheons. It is strongly Greek. There's a good number of Norse gods in there as well. So it's kind of whoever she's chosen to work with. So it's, you know, it's so beautiful. The backs are amazing. Anyway, she sent me the Hermes card. It's got crocuses on it, a beautiful painted landscape backdrop. It's beautiful and amazing. She did such a good job, and I cannot wait to get that thing in my hot little hands. So when it does arrive, I might do a little walkthrough for everybody and let you know what I think, but I'm pretty sure from the cards I've seen, it's gonna be amazing. So yes, that's that news. I also, this last month, received the sweetest gift. This is, I feel like I'm so, I want to say, like, blessed, but I'm just so lucky to know such amazing people through TarotTube, and I just want to take a second to just thank everybody for being a part of this. Whether you know, just casually watch my videos, lurk in the shadows, not commenting, I appreciate you. If you're a, you know, avid commenter, I appreciate you. If you're part of the member space, I appreciate you. And if you're someone I talk to on the side in you know, the back rooms, backstage, then I super appreciate you. It's just, you guys are the best. It's an honor and a privilege to be part of TarotTube in the community in the way that I participate in it, and it wouldn't be the same without everyone who shows up and takes part. So I just want to say thank you, and it fills my heart with so much happiness and so much joy to, you know, have made the connections that I have while being here. One of those connections is with the absolutely wonderful and amazing Candy from Candy Soul and Soil, among other amazing channels. She's got a couple. She's an absolutely amazing artist. She has a flair for tarot in a way that you really don't see too often. Her creativity and intuitive ability at pulling messages out of cards is, I could watch her all day talk about tarot, talk about cards, talk about her, you know, art witchery practice, her gardening, which is kind of where this whole thing started. We connected on a level and related to, you know, our passion for gardening and connection with the earth and growing things within it. And we did a series last summer, which I got, last spring, it was spring, called Garden Arcana, where we went through the majors of the tarot. We found those energies in real life in our garden somewhere. It's a 7-video series, so there's like 14 videos between us on it, one every week for 7 weeks. We did 3 cards each day, and it was amazing and so much fun. And as a thank you for participating in it with her and completing it and doing it, she offered to send me this amazing deck, which is so perfect and I wanted so much, but it was from the UK, so it was really hard for me to get. So she sent it to me and it finally arrived, and it is the Rose Alchemy Oracle. Oh my gosh, this deck is something else. It's beauty. This is pure Aphrodite and Venus energy at its core, right? It is macro photos of the heart of a rose at the peak of its bloom. It feels like summer. It feels divine. It really does. This is one of those decks that's going to jump right into the divinity category for me. I've used it a few times, and the messages that come out of the book associated with each of the cards are just spot on. They're so, it's being held. It's being held by like Venus herself. Working with this deck, it's kind of like lifting the cloud, being able to see the beauty in situations, and like through this the divine essence of the magic of the rose. It's beautiful, and I can see my garden roses showing up here. There's some that look very similar to the ones that I grow out in the garden, and it's everything. So I treasure this. It's so close to my heart, this deck. I don't even know if I ever would have actually bought it for myself, just because of the difficulty of receiving it, but having it sent, and from Candy specifically, for the purpose of our connection through the Garden Arcana videos, it's like serendipitous. It fit together all too well. So this is so special and so beautiful, and I'm absolutely enamored with it. Even the backs with the pattern, the sacred geometry pattern on the back, it's incredible. So that means it comes with a giant book. The cards themselves, I will say as well, it's not like your typical oracle. There's no keywords on it. It's great to sit with intuitively, to pull a card amongst a reading and sit with the energy intuitively, and then read from the book. Mix that with what you get from working with that specific rose itself. They've categorized them in their own way. I thought, I was curious when I was learning about it, what the categorization was, if it was like a biological classification, because there are different classes of rose, like in the garden, because you've got like your tea roses, your hybrid roses, your you know, fancy English roses, your wild roses, and native roses. I wondered if it would be like separated like that, but it's not. It's kind of the creator's own classification system, which is fine. I just need to get to know it a little bit. A bit more, but it's beautiful, it's stunning, and Candy, you're a treasure and a joy and so special to me, and I'm just so lucky to have you as a friend, and this is just a sweet and wonderful token of that friendship, which I will happily use for years and years and years to come. Oh, I can't wait till next summer to use it out in the garden. It's gonna be so wonderful. So I also sent her the Hellenic Oracle, so now she has a piece of me at her house too. So she's got the Hellenic Oracle in expansion, I have the Rose Oracle, and we're and using them together, tying them together in a little bow, working with the energy of the Greek pantheon, as well as pulling in specific Aphrodite energy while working with the roses. Oh my gosh, it's everything. so good. So I love that. It fits so well together and makes me so happy. Also, I was in really like a wanting to connect with people kind of way, wanting to really open up my life and my space to the creations of people that I know and people I respect and enjoy. So we've got Christa's bags, we have the deck from Candy, and we also have this wonderful little thing which I've been meaning to pick up for ages, and I finally did. This is Juli from Peekaboo Roses Jasmine Beckett Griffith tarot deck. It's the Notorious JBG Mini. JBG stands for Jasmine Beckett Griffith, and it is a tarot deck with all of Jasmine Beckett Griffith's artwork associated to the tarot meanings. And my gosh, Jasmine Beckett Griffith, my god, I can never say it right. I always like trip on the words on the way out. But her body of work is massive, and so much so that these associations, like these cards, Juli's done a smashing job of matching the energy of the tarot to the Big Eye Girl artwork, and it's incredible. There is an existing one, which I do have, the Beautiful Creatures Tarot, which is a mass market deck, same thing, but in the last few years, Jasmine Beckett Griffith has made all of her artwork public domain. So there's, you know, full permission for everyone to use it as they will. There's full credit to her as well. On this deck, which is amazing, and Juli has it up on Make Playing Cards if you want to buy it, in both a linen as well as the Superior Smooth. So it's wonderful. There's a bunch of alternative cards for, I think, 7 or 8 of them, that you can choose which option of that tarot card you want. Like, I know there's it was fun when I got it. I was going through it with Meg, picking which ones I was going to put within the deck, and it was hard. They were all such good choices, and one of them I couldn't even choose. I ended up putting both 10 of Swords, and so this deck, although adorable and sweet, contains 2 10 of Swords in it, so it's a little heavy on the 10 of Swords card, but that's okay. I like it. If it becomes too much, I usually don't do that. I usually like it to be, you know, the 78 and nothing else, but I just couldn't pick. They're both so good. And actually, when I'm doing the flip through, they both show up at the same time in the B-roll, so it's very interesting that they're right next to each other, but very interesting, you know. But yes, so this deck is so much fun and so wonderful, and pairs perfectly with all of my other JBG Oracle decks for when I want the Big Eye Girl energy, and I do often. It's comforting and sweet and fun, but it's also got that underlying layer of darkness and depth and elusive spookiness, the sort of the, I don't know, it's really female. It resonates with me and the female experience. Let me just say that. It's cute and beautiful, but it's also dark and spooky for a multitude of reasons that are unique to the scenarios that we go through. So I'm into it. I like it a lot, and so glad I finally put in an NPC order to pick it up. So thank you, Juli. I'm so happy with it. So if you haven't checked it out, I know there's a full walkthrough in comparison of this and the Beautiful Creatures Tarot on Meg's channel, maybe. I'll link it if I can find it. If not, I think I've seen a few other people do a side-by-side of the Notorious JBG Mini and the Beautiful Creatures Tarot as well. But yeah, so that's this one, and I absolutely am in love. I keep it in this cute little bag, which has this little rose quartz, which is one of the 2 pieces of rose quartz I own, and it's in a heart shape, and it was a gift from Juli from before, so I love that I get to live with that now too. So I have a piece of Juli. That makes me very happy. So that's that one. Also, I thought while I'm having a Big Eye Girl moment, which I very much did over like early Scorpio season. I was really into using the Vampire and Oracle of Shadows and Light. Those 2 were floating my boat. I thought recently, I've only had this for a week or so, I'd pick up the Myths and Mermaids deck. I never hear anything about this one from everybody, and I saw a couple of cards somewhere, it might have been Instagram, that really did it for me. I was like, well, I have to have that one. Yeah, the Alchemical Seas card, and then there's a Galatea card, and I was like, guys, why isn't anybody talking about this? This is good. So I thought I'd pick it up, and it goes so well with, again, as we can assume, with Juli's deck, as well as the other ones. If you want a massive Oracle Mountain, but with these ones, I usually just put one Oracle card in the middle and then read around it with other ones. But I think what turns people off about this particular deck, it's not a Lucy Cavendish one. So Lucy Cavendish does not write the guidebook. It's actually Jasmine Beckett Griffith's sisters that all participate in the creation of this deck, which I like that as its own little thing too. That's a nice touch. However, there is landscape cards in this, which I think what a lot of people do not like when landscape cards come up in a reading, but you know what? I don't mind it so much. It is heavy on the watery mermaid energy, as one would expect from the title, but I do like the mythical root of a lot of the meanings in the guidebook, the references to mythological experience, and the showing up of various mythological watery creatures makes me happy. They're like little Easter eggs that I get to play with. I'm pretty sure there's hamadryads in here, nymphs, as we said, Galatea, there's references to alchemy, you know, and other little stories that show up in their own unique way. Yeah, that's just a beautiful card. I love it. I figure out to get a print of that. I would put that on my wall. 100%. But yeah, working with a water element is something I don't do all the time. More of an earth and fire girly, but when it's time, yeah, here's the Hamadryad card. Hamadryad, like, very great. But yeah, and oh, there's sirens too. So good. But anyway, what I was saying is when I do want to work with mermaid energy, it's nice to have a couple of decks around, and it does happen on occasion. And I do think this would go really well with the Mermaid Tarot or Tarot Cyrene. So I think this will be a very versatile one for my personal collection, as well as going perfectly with Juli's deck, as well as Beautiful Creatures. So that was one that I picked up for me. Yeah. The mystical element of water is both bringer of life and bearer of death, to the herald of hope and the harbinger of destruction. It is in our nature to seek to understand it, to conquer it, and to sip its mysterious powers. Who better then to ask for guidance and inspiration than the spirits of water themselves, the water fae, mermaids, sprites, nymphs, and more. Yeah, and then, yeah, so anyway, it's fun. I like it. I'm into it. And my lovely little inner teenager cannot get enough of these decks, and why deprive her? You know? So yes, very much still having a Jasmine Beckett Griffith moment. It's not going away, guys. I'm loving it. So while I was placing the NPC order for Juli's deck, when it's smart to, if you're buying from Make Playing Cards, the shipping is always a little bit annoying, so I always make sure I just kind of pick up the ones I really want while I'm there. You know, because it's like, well, if I'm here, I may as well grab it. And this is one that I've wanted for ages, and this one is actually tied back to Candy as well. Sorry, this is just me like gushing all over my tarot friends, but I love them and I think they're so great. But Candy's video, if you have not watched Candy's Margaret's House video, go watch it. It is the most magical thing you've ever seen, I promise you. Anyway, she goes to a house and she's working with the history as well as the spirits of the people who were in that house. She pulls the tarot spread. It literally gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. And the tarot deck she uses in this video is a stretch tarot. And ever since I saw her use it there, I was like, that one needs to come home with me at some point. So there's a version of it on my playing cards. It was finally time. I finally got the stretch tarot. This is by J.E. Stretch, and it is one of the most magical tarot decks. I don't know, something about it. I'm sure I'm entirely influenced by watching it being used by Candy. I will say, a little bit biased. But just even out of the context of that, just looking at the cards themselves, they have a really witchy vibe to them. Like the collage style mixed with the vintage photography, the whatever the heck is going on in the Ace of Wands card. What even is this? It's a mystery. It's filled with surprising characters and figures. It's not, you know, the usual people you would expect to see on the cards. They kind of, they hold a little bit of themselves back a bit, as opposed to a lot of other decks tend to, the figures on it are really emotive and expressive and dynamic, and you can really get a strong feel for the message of the card through them. But something about the vintage photography is just a little bit like there's a pane of glass between you and the message they're trying to tell you, and you've really got to take a second to stop and almost like peer through the glass and lip read and get like a sense of what's going on with them through this weird glass lens of time. It is wild. And then you've got, you know, the tarot meaning also on top of it to help you, but it's so unique and it's so different and it feels spooky. The collage elements are rustic and worn and gritty, and it looks like the kind of thing that would be dusty on a shelf somewhere that you'd pull out and be like, oh wow, this one's full of secrets, full of energy, full of magic. Like you can feel it when you go through it. Oh, the Ten of Wands. That's a great Ten of Wands. I love it. It's so good. I've used it a couple times, and both times it was serious business. This deck doesn't mess around, as I guess what I'll say. It's a serious business deck. There's no joking about this one. It's like solemn, but not in like a sad, solemn way. Just like it's serious. It takes itself seriously, and I really appreciate that sometimes. So that deck I picked up purely because of Candy, and I'm not mad about it. It's amazing and gorgeous. And then once I got it here, I was like, hang on a second, this would go so well with this other one that I have. This isn't really officially part of the haul. I had this already, but I thought while we're here, we're gonna have a look at it alongside the Stretch Tarot. And this is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley, and I've had this for a while, and I want to see what they look like together. So we're gonna go through some cards and we're gonna have a look. This is a US Games deck, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's an older one, 2014. So this actually came out before the Stretch Tarot, which is very interesting. But great standard Oracle deck keywords, but it does have that vintage photography collage element to it. It's a little lighter, it's a little softer. It feels a little bit more almost Victorian Stretch Tarot, but they do match really well, and it does add a little layer of comfort and softness to the reading as opposed to it just being the Stretch Tarot, which has more saturated depth of color and shading, where this is a little bit more muted, a little bit more murky, a little bit more grungy, shall we say. But and sepia, it's got more of a sepia feel to it, whereas the Stretch Tarot there's a higher contrast to it. It's more intense. It feels more, I guess intense is probably the best word for the Stretch Tarot. It's serious and it's intense, where this is a little bit softer. So adding that softness to the reading with the Stretch Tarot is a nice softening combo, as well as the keywords on the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. Really, I don't know, they match up really nicely. So a beautiful combo, a wonderful pair. Can't wait to keep using those together. And I don't have very many of these type of photography decks, like the vintagey style ones. These are my only two, I think. Other than, like, my other collage decks are a whole different beast, like Tantra Dakini Oracle, Ritual Tarot, Cosmic Tribe. Like they're all definitely different in their own thing. These are the ones that kind of sit in that vintage vibe space. If you had the Relative Tarot, I think it would fit along in this category as well. I do not. Even you could almost pull in the Tarot Mystical Moments and maybe the Dreamkeeper's Tarot. I don't know. It's just, but they all kind of have that same particular vibe about them. So those ones would go good together. But anyway, yeah, Stretch Tarot is definitely a wonderful, happy addition to the tarot fam, and it also is in one of the most beautiful tuck boxes I've ever seen. I love it. It just looks so cool. Whip that out of your bag and people will be like, ooh, what is that? And then you continue to blow their minds with an incredible tarot reading. The next deck in this rather ridiculous tarot haul video last month or so is one that I didn't need. Like we need any tarot decks, but I mean the space that this filled is kind of already filled within my collection, but I just couldn't stop thinking about it and I wanted to try it desperately. So I did. I'm a grown-ass adult. So I did. This is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. It's a Los Garabeo decks by Jack Sephiroth, and it's in the box with this slidey lid. It is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. And it kind of has the theme of heaven and earth, majors being heaven, minors being earth. It's kind of an extension of what exists already within any Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, right? But the art style got me, and then I just couldn't stop thinking about it. It's really similar to the Baroque tarot and like moodiness of color and art style, but it is kind of a digital collage as opposed to more of like a painterly style. I don't know what it is, but this one, they feel different in the hand than, they feel more different in using them. I feel this one definitely has more of an esoteric layer to it, and the information on the bottom of the cards on all of their labels is so handy. You know I love having the hermetic titles rough and close, because I don't always remember them. I do my best, but I don't always remember them. So they're on here. Also, all of the elemental associations are on here. The zodiacal associations are on here. And on the majors, you've got the path in the Tree of Life. So that's the first little, there's a little number above all the stuff on the left-hand side, and that's the path between Sephiroth and the Tree of Life. There's the Hebrew letter. There's a depiction of what the Hebrew letter means to kind of remember it. So strength here is, oh, I forget the name of the Hebrew letter because I'm awful, but it's meaning serpent. And then there's the Leo sign underneath it, and then there's the planet that rules the zodiac sign, the sun, on the other side. How wonderful. The only thing that I don't know that confuses me on these little symbols, and the book is no help, I will say, you've got to know with this deck. I only have the little one. I don't know if the bigger version has a better book, but I've also heard it doesn't. So you kind of have to know. You've got to be familiar with tarot and the tarot structure to kind of get a grip on it. But yeah, the little book doesn't help. But the little arrows that are next to the Hebrew letter on the major arcana, I'm not 1000% sure what they refer to, unless the only thing I can think of is, you know how the majors all fit on a cube? If the arrows are in some way related to that major's line on the cube. Someone who knows lots about tarot, please tell me. Please tell me if I'm right, if that is correct. Because sometimes there's one, sometimes there's two, and there's the directions kind of on them and other weird little symbols. Is that what that is? Is that where, like, that major card, is that where it's referring to its place on the little three-dimensional cube that is often, sometimes, reflected in the majors of the tarot? I'd like to know. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, I have no idea what that particular symbol means. Because it's not related to the Tree of Life placement. Just the numbers above it are. So yeah. Very curious. But anywho, yes. So we've got the shortened hermetic titles on the bottom of the minor arcana. So it doesn't have the Lord of blah blah blah. It just says, like, on the Three of Pentacles, it says material work, which is great. The imagery itself is a beautiful, like, amalgamation-y mix of RWS and Thoth, which is, like, I love this. I love it when they, like, Golden Dawn decks do that. It really shows you how that there is just tarot. There's no different systems. Tarot is tarot. Tarot is tarot. And I'm really into it. The minors, they do, like, it incorporates the elements of the pip cards of the Thoth deck, as well as, like, mixing it with the scenic Rider-Waite-Smith minors. It's so good, and it does the courts the way I like them done. So the kings, which would be called the princes in a Thoth deck, which are the air of their suit, the water of air, plus it has the astrological associations of the courts as well. Not a lot of decks have that, but they have the kings, which would be the princes, on a chariot, which is so good because all of the princes in the Thoth deck are in a chariot. They're moving, blah blah blah. They're the air of their suit. Anyway, it's just it did the associations correctly, and some decks don't do that, and I'm just so glad. It's perfect. I love it, just the way I want. So anyway, I could talk for days about this one, but it's beautiful. It's good. It's gonna be a quick and easy reader. It has all the information on it I could possibly want. So yeah, Heaven and Earth Tarot by Jack Sephiroth is a fan favorite, a cloud pleaser for a reason, and I do believe this was a Kickstarter first, so there's Kickstarter editions of it rolling around somewhere, I think, and then it went mass market. But I think it's just, this is a really good, now you're not gonna believe me when I say this, I'm gonna say this is a really good beginner deck. You're gonna be like, what? No, but at the same time, it's the kind of thing that when you look at these symbols on the images, you're going to ask questions, and those questions are what's going to lead you to finding the answers out. So maybe when you look at them, you're not going to know what all these symbols mean, but those questions that it gives you are going to lead you to figuring out the answers, which is how one learns. So I think a deck like the Heaven and Earth Tarot, even though the book is useless, it's not useless, but it doesn't tell you everything, right? That's the thing about tarot. If you bought a tarot deck and the book that came with it told you everything, where's the fun in that? The occult is supposed to be about secrets, and you have to, you know, go out of your way and learn things the hard way, and, you know, they're secrets for a reason, right? There's stuff, you're not supposed to know everything. So, you know, having a little bit of mystery is good. So I get why they didn't just, you know, have a giant Lon Milo DeCat length book about the deck. But if you want a tarot deck full of the symbolism that you're looking for in a Golden Dawn esoteric lens of the tarot, Heaven and Earth Tarot is so good. So yes, in my quest for a tarot-y tarot, I found one. Oh, they even put a Merkaba on the tarot deck card. Ooh, yes. Yes. Sorry, that just makes me so happy. But anywho, maybe one day I'll do a walkthrough of that one. Let me know if you want me to do a walkthrough of the Heaven and Earth Tarot, talking about all the things that get me excited about it. Please let me know down below, because I will happily do that for you, because I do like that deck. It's easy to look at and very practical, wonderful. Makes me happy. Speaking of walkthroughs, the next deck I'm going to talk about, I just did a full walkthrough of. I talked about it for like an hour, so I'm not going to go on too long about it right now, but it is technically within the scope of the haul video. Cersei Tarot. I've been waiting for this one for a little while, and I picked it up, and it didn't disappoint. When you watch me unbox it, it's like a discovery. It's a discovery situation. I've got my expectations, and then it's me figuring out how those expectations match up with the experience of the deck. And they don't line up perfectly because I have high expectations and got a bit excited. But it's still a really great deck. The imagery of it really stays true to Rider-Waite-Smith, while also being like definitely a full-on Greek mythology tarot, which is hard to do, and I have a really hard time finding Greek mythology tarot decks that I like, because wedging Greek mythology into the tarot system is difficult, and I'm also very hard to please in that department. But I think this one has come the closest of all of the ones that I've tried in the past. The cardstock is a little bit different than regular Los Scarabeo decks, and I think I figured out what it is. I think there's a different coating on it, so they're slidier, they're slipperier. They feel a little bit more papery, but I think it's just the slipperiness of it. And I feel like they're also not going to wear as well. My edges are already chipping on them, which is weird because I've had it for like 3 days. So that's concerning. But I think like if you stand them up next to a regular Los Scarabeo deck on a table and then you like tap it, it will slide much farther than the other one. So they're just slipperier. The coating on the cards is just slipperier. But otherwise they feel the same, but they smell different. And I've got like a weird nostalgia soft spot in my heart for the way Los Scarabeo decks smell, because they've been coming from the same printer for like ever. So anyway, that's not important at all, but that's just talking about my experience with opening Cersei Tarot. But anyway, the art style is so beautiful. I really, really love the art style, and I love the direction that it took. I will say this is not a... why did they call it the Cersei Tarot? Is my main question, because it's not really about her. I could have called it the Odyssey Tarot maybe, or the Iliad Tarot, or like the Homer Tarot, because it's really framed all of the characters who show up in each of, and the guidebook does a really good job of telling you who's on each card, which is a nice new thing for Los Scarabeo. They usually leave like a little cryptic message and you're on your own. But in this one, the entire guidebook, the little white book, is all in English, and there's a description of who is on the card and their part of the myth, and then it kind of leaves you to put the pieces together of how that myth relates to that particular tarot card based on your existing tarot knowledge. But, sorry, where was I going with that? I had a point. Oh, it's all of the figures within Greek mythology that they chose for this deck kind of are framed around the stories of the Odyssey and the Iliad, and less so of other lesser myths and things like the theogony and that sort of thing. Like you get the earlier gods, the later Olympians aren't really present as much. You don't have Artemis, you don't have Apollo, you don't have Ares. Athena and Ares are only in the guidebook in relation to what's going on in the cards. They're not actually depicted. And a lot of the other later Olympians are not there, but we do have a lot of the earlier ones, as well as the events of the Trojan War as well. So something to be aware of. It's not a deity deck, it's Greek mythology. You've got men, you've got not that many monsters actually. It's more just and the kings and queens. So this is the other thing I wanted to point out with it too. The kings and queens of the minor suits are actually kings and queens within Greek mythology, which is really nice, and I like that they've done that. So they've actually gone with the royal context. So instead of picking a god or goddess, whacking them in as the king and queen, they kept most of the deities to the major arcana, and then kings and queens are actually kings and queens of either ancient Greece or within Greek mythology, like Minos, Agamemnon, Clytemnestra. Like all of them are kings and queens in the minor court cards. So I like that. I like that a lot. That was a nice touch. And it's not something I've ever seen in a Greek mythology tarot deck. I don't think. I can't remember if the Olympos Tarot does that, so I'll have to look at it again. But I just like the name. I don't think the Circe Tarot was the correct name for it, because I had expectations based on the name of the deck for what the deck was going to be about, and it's broader than that. So like something like the Homer Tarot, or calling it the Odyssey Tarot, which I don't think there is a deck called the Odyssey Tarot, so that probably would have been a good name for it maybe. But again, it's not necessarily always about Odysseus and his journey either, because you've got more of the Iliad in there too. So anyway, that's just that's just me and my thoughts. If you want more thoughts, if you want an hour long of thoughts about that deck, please go find the walkthrough and enjoy yourself. It's a fun one, but yeah, I'm glad I got it, and I think it's going to be a great one to use just in practice, doing readings for people as well, because the imagery does stick close to the Rider-Waite myth. So, and then it'll be fun to pull in the bits of myth when necessary in doing your reading. So that was a fun one. All right, guys. So the last deck in this tarot haul was just, it's another. I was feeling a type of way. I was in a dark and spooky Samhain related mood. I wanted something sexy. I wanted something dark and ridiculous. So one that would have been on my wish list for, I don't know, ages, and I just never found a reason to pick it up. I've been in like a mass market mode lately. There's good ones out there. I will find them and I will enjoy them. But this one, the Royo Dark Tarot by Lo Scarabeo from, oh my gosh, what even year was this made? I'd like to know. I don't think it says. It says printed July 2021, but that's not at all when it was, I'm pretty sure the listing said 2012. Anyway, this one, I'll talk about quickly because it is 10 out of 10 ridiculous. This deck is not going to be for everyone. This deck, a lot of people are going to hate, which is totally fine. It's exaggerated, over-sexualized, dark, like 80s romance novel, 80s metal album cover art. You know? You know, it's that. Lots of boobs, lots of bits, but it's dark and moody, it's intense. You know, the men are either like gross and monstrous or like way too buff. It's, you know, it's really that like 80s, 90s, like alt style standard of beauty. I don't know. I was feeling it. I haven't actually used it just yet in a reading because after doing my initial like little get to know you flip through with it on my own, I was like, okay, it left me with a very different feeling than I was expecting. So we'll see how I end up needing to use it. My god, the King of Pentacles is wild. But yeah, it definitely has its own specific energy. It's adventurous, it's powerful. There's definitely power there. There's depth and darkness, but there's power. It's strengthy. Oh my god, it's got a great magician card though. Oh, I do like that. It's sexual. I'm gonna say it quietly. It's a very sexual deck from a white Western perspective. Oops, what have I done there? Well, the backs are also awesome. But yeah, so I have yet to figure out how I'm going to use this, but I was feeling a type of way and I was like, I need this. It's a Scorpio deck, I'm gonna get it. So I did. And we'll figure out how it's going to show up for me in future, but yeah, the Hanged Man. Oh boy. Yeah, so I think it's good to have decks like this around that challenge you, that make you question things, that make you evaluate things, that may or may not resonate with you when you're in a state or mood that isn't necessarily familiar to yourself all the time. And I think it will be fun when this one does come out. It's definitely a mood. It's definitely it's its own thing. I say interact with caution is what I have to say about this one. I think it also needs edged in black really badly, but I wasn't sure I was gonna keep it, and I thought, well, I better not edge it in black immediately if I'm not gonna keep it. But I think it will. I think my initial shock has moved through its phases, and now we're gonna get to the point where I get to use it and get to know it as I will. But there's no rush, obviously. But yeah, that's the Royal Dark Tarot. If you've never heard of it, never seen it before, that's that. It's very metal, it's very sexual, it's very dark, mysterious, spooky, powerful, sexy. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I will keep you posted. Let me just say that. I'll keep you all posted on how I end up using that one. Who knows, it's a mystery. But yeah, that's it. I think I'm looking around it on my little spread. That's it for the for the tarot haul today. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today while I went through and showed you kind of what's come in lately. It's fun to share, it's good to know, it's always good to it helps me also like reconcile with myself, to kind of remember, talk my way through it, get to know them a little better in kind of in speaking about something you remember. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to just update you guys on what's been coming in the last little while, because I feel like I haven't in a while. I've just been making other stuff. So anywho, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Please, if you're curious to see a little bit more about what's going on with me in the back rooms, check out the member space. There's a ton of extra videos there, as I said. Readings, you can get your own personal reading from me for dirt cheap every month if you want. That's a tier too. You guys are awesome. I love you so much, and I will see all you fine people in my next video.